And so these folks knew exactly what they were doing, and their conduct at the store, tearing up the receipts, what they said at the point of sale, they understood exactly what they were doing, and now they're going to have to face the consequences for their conduct.
Well, that right there is the Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson talking about a gun shop in King County that he has now sued, accusing them of flouting state law and selling high-capacity gun magazines. We've talked a lot about the high-capacity magazine portion of Oregon's Measure 114, but in Washington, lawmakers passed a law earlier this year that bans the sale, the manufacture, and the distribution of magazines holding more than 10 rounds. The law does not punish people who already own the magazines. It just focuses on the creation and sale of the magazines.
The law is important because it comes down to public safety. We see over and over and over again mass shootings where, frankly, a weapon of choice is a high-capacity magazine, where the shooter can get off dozens and dozens of rounds in a matter of seconds. And that's why the state has banned the sale of those high-capacity magazines.
So shortly after the law took effect, Ferguson and his team did a statewide sweep of more than 24 gun stores to make sure they were not selling these banned magazines. But they say a store called Federal Way Discount Guns sold investigators high-capacity magazines time and time again, even acknowledging that they were breaking the law.
Our investigators went 4 different times to this business in Federal Way, and all 4 times they purchased these high-capacity magazines, the seller at the store did not give them a receipt. They specifically tore it up and threw it away and would make comments to the effect of that, hey, that they can't be violating the law, be caught violating the law. So it's clear what's going on. They were open about it. They were right there on the shelves. They weren't hiding it, and they did it over and over and over and over again.
Investigators were able to buy 8 high-capacity magazines from that store over the course of their visits. And when Ferguson says those magazines were right there on the shelves, here's proof his office provided. He says this gun shop was violating the high-capacity magazine sales law, like right there in plain sight.
This is obviously important to enforce this law for Washingtonians so we have a safer community, but it's also very important for businesses that are following the rules. They should not be at a competitive disadvantage to a competitor who is actually selling these high-capacity magazines. So it's important to have a level playing field for all businesses, large or small, and that's what we're trying to do with this effort.
Well, this is the Attorney General's first attempt to enforce the high-capacity magazine sales law. He said there was one other store that his investigators visited that they say broke the law, but the investigation into that store is still ongoing. As for fines for the Federal Way Discount Guns shop, well, that will be up to a judge to determine. Ferguson says breaking the magazine sales law violates the Consumer Protection Act, and the maximum penalty, $7,500 each time a high-capacity magazine is even offered for sale, and then an additional $7,500 for each illegal magazine that was actually sold. Our sister station in Seattle contacted the store to ask about this. The owner refused to comment.